Howdy folks, it's Age of the Hunting Gear Guy, and this is the Spectre Ballistics, or SBI Lynx. At least the lower is. This is a 180 style rifle. The upper is SBI as well. I like this one because it's got this Zhukov stock adapter, which I like the Zhukov stock. I like the folding on it. I like the extension on it. It fits, I think, the lines of this gun a lot better than the AR buffer tube one as well, which is right here. This is just another 180 Lynx match with the buffer tube on it instead. So maybe I'll show this one just to make it a little bit easier to watch. So whereas that other one had that Zhukov adapter, that's this block right here. This one's got the buffer tube adapter on it. You add the buffer tube and whatnot. For the grip, we can't use a beaver tail grip, so it just has to be a standard non-beaver tail. I'm mostly okay with this. I don't mind these A2. I'm one of those freaks that doesn't mind the A2 grips that much. One of the things that makes this interesting is that it's very lightweight. It's very thin. And that actually lets you do a couple of things that you can't do with standard 180s. One of them is use AR trigger pins. So you can run your anti-walk, anti-rotation style pins like I have on this one. The other thing that allows you to do is run an AR safety. So this one's one-sided only. You could do the ambi one if you prefer. I don't need the ambi ones, so I don't run them. Because you're running that safety, you can choose to run or not run the bolt hold open. I chose to run this RWS bolt hold open here on this one, and no bolt hold open on the other one. And that's basically it. I mean, they use the standard like mag release. I don't have one in this one. I'll show you the other one. And a decent like beveled out mag well as well. Now, unlike the MCR upper that uses kind of that cross bolt right at the back there, the SBI does not, as similar to the WK-180 or the AR-180. They just don't use them. They just instead just give direct access to that button there. In terms of the front takedown, it uses a bolt that's threaded into the aluminum on this side. I don't know why they just didn't use a cross pin or something like that, but it is easy enough to take off. It does use an Allen bolt on there. Some guys like flats. I fucking hate flat screws. I hate them so much. Allen, okay, great. I'm not going to torque it that much anyways because I am screwing into aluminum. I think that's fine. A couple of other interesting things about these. One, they take regular trigger packs. Some of the other ARs out there, or AR-180s, sorry, don't take AR trigger packs very well. I've got this Timney Calvin Elite in here, and you can see that it fits in there just fine. We are empty here, and we can see that it's got such a great trigger pull on this thing. I just love this trigger. The mag release doesn't have any protection around it, just sitting flat on that. One of the things that that SBI tried to do with this lower was make it really lightweight for competition and that kind of a thing. Fits the mags just fine. Get in there. Works just fine. Now, who should get one of these things? Well, I don't think you should buy one of these from scratch and try to build one from scratch just because the parts are kind of expensive to buy a onesie twosie. It's better to just buy like a clapped out 180 and build it onto this this framework. So if you have a 180 that is a little bit worn out, or it doesn't have all the features, or maybe it's just too heavy, you could replace the lower and upper with something that's a little bit more lightweight like this, and something that gives you access to more of the nice things that you might want to. Maybe you have a nice 45-degree AR safety that's sitting on your AR and you can't use it because you're in Canada and we have stupid laws. This is an option to start using it. You'll also be able to use those anti-rotation or what's the other one? I forgot it. I'll not put it in the bottom because my kid's going to edit this and I don't want him to have to look it up. Anyways, you can run special pins on it, not the weird 180 pins. You can run something else. And again, it's a little bit better of a magwell on it, a little bit more bevel on that thing, a little bit more room to get those mags in. Now, between the Zhukov version and the buffer tube version, I'd go Zhukov version just because I think it looks better and it gives you that access to that folding capability that you can get in an AR buffer tube, but for buku bucks. Whereas this, like this stock is like 130, 150 bucks, something like that. It's fairly solid. They do have add-on cheek rests if you want to go a little bit higher. And again, you can go back and forth. It's got QD slots in it. I think it's just a better fit for this rifle. Just while I'm rambling on, SBI went a different route with this upper rail. It is just a little bit higher, and that's because it is Picatinny compliant. It's not, some of the other ones use like they're like a shorter rail on here, which is fine usually, but if you try to use like an EOTech or something with like a really big clamp on it that needs that space on the rail, actually the Aimpoint Pro standard base it comes with won't work on a lot of the uppers. It does on this one because they've granted it that little bit of extra rail height. It might mean that your front sight, rear sight, iron sight backup might need to be cranked quite a bit to work. I don't run those, so I don't care. Now, the last thing to mention is that 180s are on the ban list for the amendment G4 to C21. These might get banned. That's entirely possible. Well, I mean, we're in Canada. Anything could get banned at this point. Make sure you call your reps to put the pressure on them to not support these bans. Try to get them to see our side so that we can have cool competition rifles like the SBI Lynx 180. Thanks for watching.